Welcome back, everyone, to OpenLine. Glad you're with us. We're talking real estate in Nashville, real estate in Middle Tennessee, the hot market. What does it mean for first-time home buyers? What does it mean if you're trying to buy or sell a home? All of that. Happy to have with us Gabriela Lira, real estate broker right here in Nashville, joining us via Zoom. And I wanted to also talk about renting. So what is the situation now for renters and rental prices and all of that? What's going on with renting right now?
So rental prices have also skyrocketed, and I just experienced this myself. My sister just moved back from Los Angeles to the Nashville area, and I was helping her find a rental, and I just could not believe how expensive these rentals are getting. We were looking at $3,000 for a 3-bedroom townhome. So rental prices are definitely doing the same that buying prices are doing. They just keep going up.
And how is that sustainable? That's my bottom line question, how we keep going back to that. But how is that, what is going on? Why is it so expensive? And how is that, is that going to continue, I guess?
There is no real slowdown in sight, I will say. All the experts are saying that we are continuing down this trajectory for at least 6 months to a year. And is it sustainable? I mean, affordable housing has become such a huge problem in our city and across the country. So we definitely need some solutions to get more affordable housing.
And what would you say then to renters right now? I guess obviously you might have to look outside of Davidson County, but compare renting to buying right now.
That's hard because they're both tough right now. Rental prices are so high, and we even have some people that can afford to buy and are ready to buy, but because they are getting outbid and they're just growing frustrated, they are choosing to rent for a little bit longer instead of continuing down the path of competing with so many buyers for homes.
Mm-hmm. Is one more economical? Would you recommend renting for some time? And are there people, do you think people are there people that are moving away from buying and they're saying, I'm just going to rent? Because there are a lot of these companies that have come in, right? American Homes for Rent and that kind of thing. These companies that are coming in, buying up single family homes and then turning around and renting them. And part of what they say is people want to rent. They don't want to own a home. They don't want the hassle of fixing a roof or an air conditioner.
And there are definitely certain situations and life circumstances where being a renter is the right thing for you, right? Maybe you have a very transient job and you are in one city 3 months a year and you keep moving around. So that could be a thing. You might be working on your credit or working on saving for a down payment, and so you have to rent. But overall, buying is the way to go, and buying is what I would recommend because it's good for building wealth. People who bought a house 5 years ago, well, they have all this equity built into their home now, and they could sell when they retire, or they can sell and upgrade to a bigger home. They could leave the home for their kids, right? So it is a great way to build wealth, to own real estate. And that's the way I would advise people to go if your circumstances allow.
All right, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Beatrice. Hello, Beatrice.
Hello.
Hello, go right ahead. What's on your mind?
Yeah, we just wanted to know the logic in these companies coming in wanting to buy homes from current homeowners to rent to people that don't really want to own the home but just have a home to live in. And
displace the homeowner.
And displace the homeowner that actually wants to own the home.
So what's the logic behind these companies doing that?
Yeah.
Money.
That's what I wanted no, if I sell you my house, then where am I going to live if people can't even afford to live in Davidson County?
Right. Are you getting a lot of offers or people calling you up saying, will you sell? Yeah.
Every day.
Every day. Wow.
Times a day.
Yeah, and I wish I knew a way to stop it. People we don't even know.
Oh, I bet. And are you selling?
No. Heavens, no.
No, where are they going to go?
We have a beautiful home, so no.
They have their forever home, and no. All right, well, good. Beatrice, thank you. Do you have I think I have your question. Do you have anything else you want to ask?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. So they're asking, why would these big companies come in and want to do this? You said it's money, and I think that's absolutely right. Obviously, there's a huge demand for single-family housing, and they want to buy it, and they want to turn around, and they want to rent it, and they can rent it for a lot of money for a long period of time, and that's their business model.
Exactly.
All right, let's go to Mike. Hello, Mike.
Hello, good evening, Ben, and good evening to your guests. And she's very knowledgeable. I remember the first time she was on there about 2 months ago. She's got a wealth of information. I would like to ask her, first of all, I have some property that I'm thinking about subdividing. Sit on about 1 acre of land, but my house just takes up about 1/3 of that property. And I've already been told that a part of that land is already approved through Metro codes. But I'm having a hard time trying to find a surveyor. My second question is, since it's a seller's market, I'm looking good. I'm on top of the hill. I have several letters and bids come in to me, offers all the time through the mail. My question is, if I did sell the whole property, that's good for me, but then now I'm a buyer having to find a new place to live, and how do you avoid, as a buyer now, not buying a house in a housing market that may be overinflated in the current times right now, not just in Nashville, but across the country? And I'll hang up and listen to your answer. I hope you guys have a good night.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for both those questions. What about that the second one first? As a buyer, how do you prevent from overpaying for a house?
Well, he's a seller before he's a buyer, right? So as a seller, you have a lot of leverage in this market. So you could strike a deal so that you're allowed to stay in your property, especially if you're selling to the type of buyer I think you will end up selling to, which is probably a builder or a developer who's going to want that much land that you've already gone through the process of subdividing it. That's going to be your end buyer. So you have leverage in selling to them. You can say, okay, well, I'll sell to you, but I need to stay here 3 months so that I have an opportunity to go out into this market and find a new place to live. I'm seeing that even with just your everyday seller. They're saying, hey, we'll sell this house to you, but we'd like a lease back agreement because we also now need to go find our home.
And so he does have, are you seeing people all excited to sell because you can get so much money, but then they turn around and they're like, whoa, now I can't buy a house? I mean, it sounds great when you're selling, and I like what you said, that you have so much power you can kind of negotiate some things like that. But are some people selling and cashing in and then stuck like, oh boy, now I don't know what I'm gonna do?
Yeah, and that's why you need to have a plan, right? So before you even decide to sell, you should have a plan. Where are you going? And you should start simultaneously down that path so that you're able to act quickly once your house goes on the market.
He also asked about a surveyor and subdividing property. So it sounded like he had 1 acre of land in Davidson County. How hard is it to find a surveyor? What do you think about subdividing property?
I love subdividing property. If you have 1 acre and it's allowed where you're living and you can subdivide and maybe keep a portion of it and you live there and sell off the other piece, it's a great way for you to make some money. It is very difficult to get surveyors right now. Even me, being in the real estate world, I will tell you that my mother needed to get her land surveyed, and it took us about 3 or 4 months to get the surveyor out there. And believe me, we were calling him all the time. He was tired of hearing from us. So I just say, go online, find yourself a list of 10 plus, and just start calling and see who can get out there the soonest.
And why is that happening? Why is there a shortage of surveyors?
There's a shortage of surveyors, and there is a shortage of appraisers as well, because there's so much activity in the real estate market that it's not just affecting buyers and sellers and, agents. There are so many people involved in this market. So there just is a shortage of, there's so much building going on that there is a shortage of these trades.
Interesting. Let's go to another call here. Let's go to Deanna. Deanna, are you there?
I am.
Hi, go right ahead.
Hi, I'd like to know any tips on how to bid against these cash buyers that are coming in, like the companies. How do you make an offer that can compete with those?
Are you looking to buy a house now?
Yes.
And have you run up against that, some of these big corporate buyers?
Just this week, I was outbid, and they said I had the strongest financing offer, but they went with the cash buyers.
Okay. And let me ask one other. Are you in Davidson County trying to buy, or what's your situation?
I am. It was in Donaldson.
In Donaldson. Okay. All right. How does a regular person compete with that?
Okay, so it is quite difficult to compete with the cash offer because it's less risk to the seller, right? It guarantees them this money. When you're getting financing, something could happen where your financing falls apart. Lord forbid you lose your job in the middle of the transaction and there went your loan, right? So a cash offer is less risky for the seller. A lot of times a cash offer will also waive an appraisal because it's they can either do it or not. It's not required like it is when you're getting financing through a bank. A bank will require you to get an appraisal. So that's one less contingency or one less risky component of the offer. So here's what I think you should do. If you are not a cash buyer, then make sure whoever you are using as a lender can do upfront underwriting for you. And I'll explain what that is in a moment. But if they do upfront underwriting for you, the bank has gone through all your paperwork. They've asked you for your tax returns. They've asked you for proof, verification of income. They've asked you for all the documentation that they need to know that they will do this loan for you. And what they give you is instead of this, pre-qualification or pre-approval, they give you a loan commitment letter saying we've gone through their documents and we are committing to lend money to this person. And a lot of times lenders can close much more quickly because they've already taken you through underwriting. So they can close in as little as 10 business days. So, the cash offer can close quickly and it's less risky, but now you have a bank saying, I'm guaranteeing your loan, and you can also close quickly. So definitely do upfront underwriting, and that is going to help you tremendously. And then, talk to your agent and strategize, because there are things that you can do which are risky. So this is why I'm saying talk to your agent so you can evaluate risk reward, because if you are guaranteed financing, you can waive your financing contingency and still get a loan. You can waive your appraisal and still be required to do an appraisal, but you have to talk to an expert to be able to discuss what the risks are in doing these things.
Wow, I like that. That's very good advice. All right, so that's good advice. And then, all right, so how often are people coming up against that with somebody with an all-cash offer? She said, and I believe that it's often these corporations that are coming in, buying homes, and then turning around and renting them. Is that true, or are you seeing, where are these cash offers coming from?
Believe it or not, it's not just these institutional buyers that have cash offers. It's regular people like you and I. So there's a lot of quiet money in Middle Tennessee. I will say that. But then you have these people relocating who sold their home for $2 million in California and are now able to come here and pay cash for a home. So that's where the cash buyers are coming from. And these institutional buyers, they're very selective, believe it or not. They have parameters under which they purchase. And so places like Zillow and Redfin and some of those places, they only buy homes that are $500,000 or lower. So you don't see a Zillow offer for a $2 million home.
Okay. All right. Very interesting. All right. We're going to take a break. And then there's Mickey and others on the line. If you want to call in, there's the number 615-737-PLUS. 615-737-7587. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.